And now, the news from our London studios. MTA International brings you the world news.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to a very special edition of MTA News. Hazrat Amir al-Momineen, may Allah be his helper, graciously granted the MTA News team permission to come and film at the London Mosque from Tahajjud prayer onwards throughout the New Year's Day. We now humbly present the New Year's Day with Huzoor.
The lights are on at the London Mosque complex for New Year's Day Tahajjud. All three halls outside the main mosque have been cordoned off for ladies, while an additional marquee has been erected for the men. But half an hour before Fajr, the congregation is overflowing. Organisers are hurriedly finding every space they can for prayer mats, as more and more people arrive. Huzoor's security team have kept count. Almost 2,000 people are already on site, including 1,200 men and over 700 ladies. As people stand for the prayers, a few extra spaces become available and some lucky young men are able to move into the mosque. Each day between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m, Huzoor holds meetings with various office bearers of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. On New Year's morning, there are 5 departments scheduled, including Arabic Desk, Tabshir, MTA and Mal. However, the first meeting will be with the head of a Humanity First delegation that has recently returned from working in Iraq.
Today's mulaqat was quite emotional because I was able to borrow my young son's iPad to show Huzoor some of the work that was happening throughout Iraq, and Huzoor very lovingly took the iPad and scrolled through all the 20 plus photographs that gave an overview of the work. So the iPad now has a complete new meaning to me. Approximately a fortnight ago, Huzoor again in a mulaqat gave some advice. Huzoor alluded to the fact that there's only one human being that was a complete pinnacle of success, which was the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. And even many prophets could not reach his status. So you can't reach that point, but you should aspire to excel and aim towards high pinnacles in your work. Huzoor also gave some guidance in terms of Humanity First's work across the world, with humanitarian NGOs and international bodies all sort of vying with each other almost to be the first person to plant the flag on the ground. In that context, and our relationship with external organisations, Huzoor advised very lovingly that it doesn't matter whose name is on the project, the key essence is that humanity is served.
The Zohar and Asr prayers are combined at 1 p.m, and afterwards Huzoor graciously attends a nikah before leading the silent prayer. The door from Huzoor's office leads to a series of 6 rooms that are occupied by his private secretary staff. Scattered through the office are various pigeonholes, files and trays of letters. This week, Huzoor has received approximately 10,000 personal letters. Today he has received over 200 official letters, many with lengthy reports attached. As well as handwriting guidance on many of these letters, Huzoor has personally signed 500 replies today. Maghrib is offered at 4:15 p.m. The 3 hours that follow are almost entirely devoted to more mulaqats. The first of these is with Huzoor's press secretary before a further 28 personal and family mulaqats. The first person called to meet Huzoor tonight is Azimur Rahman, a grandson of Dr. Abdus Salam, who is currently studying in the field of ecology.
He particularly mentioned reforestation efforts to combat global warming. And in particular, he told me to try focusing efforts on reforestation in third world countries, where there's rampant deforestation, habitat loss. It was very reassuring that Huzoor gave me a direction to follow.
Also among the international guests is Alan Kelly from Ireland, who only converted to Ahmadiyyat 2 weeks ago and has just experienced his very first personal mulaqat.
I've seen him. You can see that he's full of knowledge and wisdom, and when he talks to you, he's so kind and gentle and makes sure that you're comfortable in his presence. He doesn't make you feel uncomfortable. He just knows exactly how to communicate with everyone and to make you feel like you're in a natural conversation with such a great, knowledgeable man. First, I wanted to ask, could I request to do bat on his hand, which he said that maybe later on we had a bigger crowd. The second one was, could I get a ring and touch it on the Promised Messiah's original ring. He gave me one ring. He made sure it fitted me properly, and now I'm going to keep it safe with me always.
Fawad was sent from the UK to work as a teacher in a Nigerian Ahmadiyya school 6 months ago. He and his family have returned on a short break and are taking the opportunity to meet Huzoor. Fawad's family are called towards the end of tonight's meetings and, after 6 months away from the country, are able to make an emotional return to their Khalifa's office.
So many miles away from in Nigeria, we missed those times where we could just drive around the corner and come and see him. So it was lovely seeing him, especially on New Year's Day. It's like a blessing for us. He remembers us. I mentioned one more thing to Huzoor is, we've had some problems and struggles, and he said, "Go and see struggles." Like, what struggles did you have? When I was in Ghana and Africa, I used to sit behind the trucks. And we didn't have food, and things like this keep us going, because when we have our struggles according to our lifestyles and the sacrifices we're making is nothing compared to the sacrifices he has made, as Huzoor. And even when he was not Huzoor, I mentioned to Huzoor how I miss him so much, and Huzoor said, "Haan, achhi baat hai. Like, miss karo aur kaam jaake udhar karo." So, which means if you miss me, remember me and do the work that you've been sent to do.
As the time for Isha draws near, Ahmadis queue for one more glimpse of Huzoor. Following the prayers, one by one, the private secretary staff return to their homes, until only a single person is left, working at his desk, into the night.
That was a typical day at the London Mosque, which we so happened to film on New Year's. Now we turn to the Friday sermon, where Huzoor Anwar, may Allah be his helper, announced the new year of Waqfe Jadid scheme. Let us briefly summarize the key facts and figures.
This year, by the grace of Allah the Almighty, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community raised over £9.1 million, which is an increase of £271,000 from last year. Total participants for this year were over 1.7 million, with an increase of over 123,000. The top 10 countries were as follows: Pakistan, UK, Germany, America, Canada, India, Australia, Indonesia, a Jamaat in the Middle East, Ghana, and another Jamaat in the Middle East.
Earlier this week, Huzoor Anwar, may Allah be his helper, addressed the concluding session of Jalsa Salana Qadian, where over 18,000 delegates from dozens of countries were present, with thousands more at the London Mosque. He finished with the prayers for the new year, with which we too now bring our program to a close. Until next week, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
और नए साल का इस्तकबाल भी दरूद और सलाम से करें ताकि हम जल्द अज जल्द उन बरक़ात को हासिल करने वाले हों जो हज़रत सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की ज़ात से वाबस्ता हैं। अल्लाह ताला हमें इसकी तौफ़ीक़ अता फ़रमाए, हर मुखालिफ से हमें बचाए और उनके शर उन पर उल्टाए।